Right, the time is now 6 o'clock on this Tuesday, November 14th. Call this meeting to order. The public session for the normally joint executive governing board established form.
Yes, sir. Mr. Roberts.
Present.
Mr. Hyde.
Present.
Ms. Taylor. Present. Mr. Humphrey.
Present.
Ms. Patton.
Present.
Ms. Williams. Ms. Pearson.
Present.
We have a quorum. All rise for the pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Proceed with adoption of the agenda. Before we do that, there is one item under 7.07, meeting minutes. There's an amendment that needs to take place to the meeting minutes, so we'll remove that from the consent item, and we'll be presenting it at the next public session for approval. Are there any other changes to the agenda before we entertain a motion to adopt it? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda. So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded that we adopt the agenda with the one amendment. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same privilege. The ayes have it. Moving on to item number 3, public comments. Turn it over to, I think that again, just to remind, there are no public comments today. The protocol for public comments has been posted on our website, and we just encourage parents, students, whoever is interested, to please follow protocol, and we welcome public comments, as we have stated before. There are no public comments today. Mr. Hawkins, is there something that, Officer Tripp?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Is there anything that you want to say towards that regarding the public comments?
No, I just wanted to do the opening statement.
Okay. So typically we'll do that, but since we have none today, we'll forego that.
Okay.
I have a comment today, so you're saying it's in the process?
There is a process. Yes, ma'am. And we'll make sure that Mr. Tremont is our director of communications. He can talk to you about that. And we follow the protocol for public comments. All right. Moving on to item number 3.02, municipal partnership. We yield the floor to municipal partners, Mr. Chris Kramer and Mayor Brian Jackson.
Good evening to the President, the Board, and to illustrious Superintendent, and all the staff, administrators, parents, and we stand tonight to let you know that the partnership is healthy and strong. We're praying for our own chieftain, Mayor McGee, as he recovers. But he is still strong. And so we are looking forward to many things that we are seeking to prepare for as we prepare to finish up our work with forming our own TDD, our taxing district, which will begin to help to move our communities to all look the same on the inside of the communities, as far as our streets, our curbs, and our sidewalks, that our citizens and their children move up and down throughout the year. Some of our cities have not seen our streets done in a number of years, and so we look forward to forming that TDD with those contiguous cities to form that. Also, we are looking to, we are on our way in the morning down to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, just got back from Los Angeles, and Long Beach area. We were going down there to put our voice. Unfortunately, it was before the Israel-Hamas date, but the mayor of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, has invited us down to put our voice to anti-Semitism, but also talk about protection legislation to protect HBCUs, public colleges, and churches and synagogues. So we'll be down there leaving in the morning to put our voice to that. We have numerous of our HBCUs that are seeing bomb threats. It's a concern to us that some of our students from our area and from our footprint would be going to some of those HBCUs. We want them to be safe environments for our children. We continue to thank you for inviting us to this meeting, and we look forward to the support that we give and the support that you give to us, and look forward to all of us working together to bring about a stellar and magnificent school district, which we look forward to. But we are here, and we're here to help in any way we can as the holiday season comes up. Should you need us as a partnership, just call on us at any time for any of the schools that are having anything that we need to show up at. We're more than willing and welcome to show up. That being said, we want to thank you, and then we'll turn it over to Chris Craven.
Thank you, Mayor Jackson.
Thank you, Mayor Jackson. Just a quick addition to Mayor Jackson's comments. The Transportation Development District has 17 communities coming together, and the reason why I mentioned that, it's going to be several $1 million to the community, which will increase property values, which will increase the tax base, which means the school district gets a little more money, right? So to the extent that, again, our community's role is, again, how do we support the school district both in direct and indirect ways. This is an indirect way. Again, marshaling more resources for the community. I'll give a quick update on the agenda. Already tonight there's some MOUs that have been reviewed by staff. I just want to give you a quick update on wraparound services, to make sure everyone is up there where we're going. Many thanks to Dr. Triplett and particularly Dr. Brooks for the great partnership and, again, working through all the partners who want to be with us to help our children are actually accomplishing all the things that are needed and necessary. So, as you know, we've been a part of the school district for a lot of years. I can tell you this year, both the energy and the willingness to work together from the not-for-profit partners is as good as I've ever seen it. What we have seen is folks gather together on a quarterly basis like we did last week, where we hosted a quarterly meeting where we really talked about basic needs. And we had presentations by Building on Direction, the Little Bit Foundation, National Council of Jewish Women, and Operation Food Search. Quarter before that, we had a topic on mental health. We had Better Family Life, BJC Behavioral Health, Core Collective, Preferred Family Health, and Teenage Outreach Program from Wyoming presented. Again, the idea here is to say for years we had lots of folks around the school district, but there wasn't clarity on exactly what they were doing, were they meeting the needs of the students and their families. What we've been trying to do both last year and now this year as coordinated wraparound services is be very clear on accountability and metrics. So what we have with Carrie Collins, our Senior Director of Education, and Dr. Brooks and Dr. Triplett, everybody gets reviewed on what are you doing, what are you going to accomplish, let's measure that. Let's have, again, a mid-year kind of check-in, how are we doing, and an end-of-the-year review on did you accomplish the things that you said you were going to, and then the school district will then decide, we want you to return next year, or are there other gaps that we see relative to our children's needs and the family's needs, so again, we can have the best outcomes and set up the best context for our children to be successful. So again, we're thrilled with that, and the energy and enthusiasm that we've seen, that I've seen, is nothing we've seen before, right? So there's willingness to work together, to be coordinated, to be aligned, to recognize no one organization can meet the needs of a number of the families in the footprint that the children come to our school district. So again, we can support the children and families to be stronger, to be healthier, and allow them to access the educational opportunities that the district has for them each and every day. A couple other updates. Our Vacuum Advantage program, which is our math savings program at the high school, including the 50 students in the upcoming class of 2024. The Vacuum Advantage program has served 512 students As of today, those students have saved almost $300,000 themselves with their families. With the 3-to-1 match that we offer them, that's another $1.2 million going toward post-secondary education expenses. Currently, the program in its years of operation has seen 130 undergraduate degrees, 15 master's, and 1 medical degree. As you remember, Dr. Covington is now at the University of Wisconsin-Madison doing his residency. He went to Normandy from kindergarten all the way through high school. So we know that our children can do great things. Except give them the right.
Do a round of applause for that.
So in last year's program, we had almost 40 students participating. 100% of them today are pursuing some type of post-secondary education. Right? Again, supporting our children, we know they can do great things. Currently, we are enrolling Norman High School and 24-1 high school seniors, helping them get identification documents and open up their bank accounts. We most recently did a college visit to Greenville College in Illinois. We will visit Fontbonne in early December. Right? Part of the program, yes, is financial support, but quite frankly, it's a whole lot more than that. Again, college visits, ACT prep, financial aid package review, and then talking to each other, bringing the students together about what they're thinking, what they're going to do. Again, the challenges, the excitement, the concerns, and the fears. So again, we know the program can be successful. Again, we're thrilled where that program is going to be constantly trying to raise more money, serve more students, up the match, and make sure the children are successful. To date, our persistence rate, which is the term used, do kids stay in school? It's one thing to start school, but how many kids actually stay in school and finish? Our persistence rate now is around 70%, which is remarkably good in this space to have, again, students, and it's a testament to both students' desire for post-secondary education, their family support, and our willingness to support them as well. Quick update of the family engagement liaisons. In the first 27 days of school, that'll be all of August and September, we're working on finalizing the October numbers, the family engagement liaisons, which are in every building. 470 families receive services. That's, again, deduplicated, right? So it's 470 specific families receive services. 130 referrals were made to other community providers. And in October, we gave out 276 backpacks, 449 hygiene items, 837 other clothing items like socks, underwear, belts, and shoes. We gave out over 1,100 uniforms and 2,356 food items, which range from granola bars to weekend food bags. What Carrie told me yesterday, and she asked that we share this in a way that I hope you respect and understand it. A lot of times, her staff do stuff, and we didn't tell y'all like we did it. Right? We just heard there was a need. You guys said what's something needed. We just got to take care of it, right? We want to be that kind of partner. But yes, you're going to ask for very specific things, and we're accountable to you. But we also want to be that partner. I love the phrase that good friends are like stars. You don't always see them, but you know they're there. Right? So we want to be that kind of partner with you to constantly, again, be hearing and listening to how we can support you, how we can support the children and families so they can be successful. The fellows also helped plan and facilitate 24 family engagement events, conducted dozens of home visits, made hundreds of attendance calls, helped parents secure employment, find housing, obtain utility assistance. So far this year, the fellows also responded to crises including a suicide attempt that our staff literally it's mom's house. Because she wasn't in a good space and she knew it, and she reached out to her, and our staff was there, and house fires. We're working on a proposal for a Spanish-speaking fellow, and to create a PTO pilot, which will include incentives for staff and parents. And just today, we had an initial conversation with Dr. Brooks on how we can support a parent university for the Normandy Schools Collaborative. Again, listening to and responding to the things we've heard the board say, Dr. Triplett say, again, how else can we support the success of our children? And lastly, we also want to start a conversation about how can we bring our Children's Defense Fund nationally recognized Freedom School to one of the Normandy schools building this summer. So again, a lot of great things are happening, a lot of, again, energy. I know we've heard some preliminary great success on student performance. We're thrilled to hear that. The community is thrilled about that. We're confident that, again, with the leadership of the board and Dr. triplet with the support from the municipal partnership and all the not-for-profit partners. And we know that the better days ahead. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Kramer. Any questions?
Yes, I would like to know how can I get a copy of that?
I'll send it to Dr. Triplett, Dr. Brooks, and share it with the board.
That perhaps we should have it as one of the connectors.
Ms. Williams, can you speak into your mic?
Perhaps we should have it as one of the connectors. I think it's information that the community needs to know about.
We can make that happen as well with Mr. Sherman.
Hold your mic down, Sheila. Yeah, hold it down. Lord have mercy. Old people and technology. Did you all hear what I said? No, ma'am. Oh, okay. I believe that report should be in one of our connectors, the newsletter that we send out, because I think it's noteworthy enough. The community needs to know what is happening with beyond housing with the school district. Don't you agree? Yes. Okay. That's what I want to say.
Heard you loud and clear, Ms. Williams.
Any other questions, comments? Mr. Kramer, thank you, and to you, Beyond Housing and Municipal Partnership, our district really enjoys a strategic partnership with our public stakeholders, so we really appreciate that. Appreciate the efforts of Dr. Triplett, Dr. Brooks, and his staff, because one of the cries for assistance help is to get more parents involved, and that thing is resonating. So thank you, Dr. Triplett, thank you, Mr. Kramer, Mr. Jackson, and we'll keep Mayor McGee in our thoughts and prayers.
Thank you.
One more item, I go off script off a lot, but this is a must. I wanted to recognize our student representative. We have leadership throughout our district and throughout our community. And we have one of our ambassadors that is now serving as our student representative, Ms. Alexandra. That's it. And I want to publicly recognize her as also, we know her as chef extraordinaire, so she's been very much an ambassador of our district, and we appreciate your leadership and look forward to working with you. Moving on to the items for information, 5.01, MOUs for student services. Oh, sorry, before, public recognition, most important, yield the floor to Mr. Tremont.
Good evening, board members and superintendent. We have, chess has been in the news lately, and so we would like to take this opportunity to recognize Normandy School's collaborative teacher. Before I start, I'd like to invite Mr. Nave up to the podium as well. This is one of his teachers. We'd like to recognize Aparna Chandra for securing, she secured a grant of $6,720. So that's for this academic school year from the St. Louis Chess Club and Scholastic Center. That's going to be used for working with Normandy High School students to even better their chess, their chess playing. She's going to talk a little bit about where they placed the first tournament. As you know, we had a large tournament at Lucas Middle School again, and she'll give an update on how they placed in that tournament as well. So I'd like to bring up Ms. Chandra.
While they're coming up, I can't hold it in. I've been waiting on this for a very, very long time. So let's give them another round.
recognition. And my amazing team, Adaya, Amir, and Florence.
Come on up, guys.
I would also like to thank my principal, Nate, and Dr. Joyner. I highly appreciate his support and encouragement. And Mr. Berry for motivating kids to play chess. Bringing them to my program. 2 years back, when I introduced chess in my algebra classroom, I wasn't expecting anything. I was just, I wanted my students to, have better, develop their problem solving and critical thinking skills. And, now it's such a big thing and a structured program with support of leadership. I don't know what to say. I mean, it was never, that was not my expectation. So this is all. Last Saturday, I was even more pleasantly surprised to see Ms. Williams, Dr. Petty. I need to thank him for approving the program, Dr. Petty. Thank you so much. And Mr. Hodge, who himself is a chess player, and he in fact played with the kids and gave us valuable strategy and character lessons, and he gifted a book also. We started off well. We came, I think, 5th in the first tournament. Second tournament we came 6th, and on the Lucas Crossing we came 7th. So I'm hoping we can do better in the coming Saturday tournament. So we're supposed to be going up. The curve has to go up. So that's my plan.
Hold the trophy up high.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank Ms. Chandler and Mr. Berry for getting me involved in chess, and I see chess as one of my future career options.
Well, before you all leave, if I can have just a moment. Thank you, Mr. President. The Norman Schools Collaborative School District has a strong history of chess. For those who do not know, we have been a chess powerhouse for many, many, many years. More recently, you may know that Rick Nelson has really popularized it within our elementary schools and throughout our district as a cultural development tool, along with all that it does with tennis and all of those things. More recently, you probably have seen or heard of the students playing chess at lunchtime, any given lunchtime at the high school. If you want a good game, they're organizing culture around chess. As a matter of fact, Mr. Berry mentioned to me, he said, when these kids are in the cafeteria playing chess, if some nonsense breaks out, they look up, but they go right back to playing chess, right? There's something powerful about the game of chess. I've told the students this, that chess literally saved my life. As a East St. Louis, and I grew up playing chess. I started somewhere around middle school, and it taught me that I was smart. It taught me that smart is not something that you are, it's something that you become. That the more you play, the better you get, the more you study, the more you know. And I can't tell you how excited I am about these young people standing in front of us right now. They represent a culture at the high school at its pinnacle. These are just 3 of our chess players. What they say is that at lunchtime, the other folks that play, they come to them when they really want to get shined up, right? And so they're the ones to beat at the school, and they are representing our district in a wonderful way at these tournaments. It is absolutely amazing. If you miss a second, you miss something incredible happening in this building. You gotta ask them about it. With that, I'll say this. I wrote a book about my experiences playing chess. And I have shared that book with literally thousands of kids around the country. And it is my story of chess. It is what I believe is the greatest thing that I've done until this point in my life. And I want to make sure that you guys understand that. So I brought you all copies of that book tonight, and I put in a special message for each one of you. Keep doing what you're doing. You may not understand the significance of it right now, but I got a picture from tonight when you just showed up for the first time with your trophies. And I'm going to hold on to it, and I'm going to show you in 20 years what we have done for this district. All right? Never doubt that a small committed group of people can change the world, or indeed, the only thing that never happens. Keep following the leadership, keep learning, keep playing. We are so proud of you all. Can we give them a nice
Thank you for those encouraging words, Mr. Hodge. And what are those stars that, was started out as an idea, just enthusiasm and love for chess, turns into this, and it will turn into something greater. And I just want to give a special shout out to Mr. Berry for your passion, your commitment, your effort. We want to make sure that we get, some of it will be on to follow up with them, so we'll figure that out, to try to smooth transition.
Not now, but Mr. Brown, make sure that after every time we do awards and recognitions, get pictures for the district.
Yeah, we gotta promote this stuff, yeah.
We do have one of our leaders who spoke tonight. I think his mother was a little shy to stand up, but I'm going to ask Tiffany to stand if she would. I don't want to talk too much about your Amir's mom, is that right? I've been playing chess a long time, y'all. I'm a pretty good player. That young man is better than I've ever been, and has a mind for this game that is absolutely amazing. I don't know if you heard him, he said that he wanted to play professionally. That means that he wants to be a grandmaster, an international master, one of the best in the world. And he made me promise him that we're going to give him all the resources and all the coaching that he needs. Instead, we're on your team to help him do what he wants to do, okay? Thank you so much.
All right, moving on to item number 5, items for information. Moving on to items for information, we'll pursue item 5.41, MOUs for student services. Looking forward to Dr. Brooks.
Good evening, President Roberts, Board of Education, Dr. Triplett. For November, we had 11 MOUs for a discussion for you all to discuss. First one is Alpha MOU. This program is intended to help children who struggle with hunger and lack access to food outside of school hours. All children eligible for this. The next one we have is Animal Alone Children and Family Services. This program mission is to improve the quality of life of children, family, older adults, and the community by providing social services, educational programs, and advocacy. Beyond housing, they have a FEL program, as Mr. Graymeyer mentioned. FELs are beyond housing employees embedded in normally school collaborative schools with the overarching goal of bridging the gap between home and school so that the students can engage in optimal school experiences. Broadly, FELs provide stability, dignity, and agency to the support of our families. Also, beyond housing, they have the wraparound service that Mr. Fremont mentioned. And what they do, they recognize that NSC is not only in the educational system, institution that educates students, but we also are in direct partnership with them. The management of that program works to ensure that the resource and service providers who partner with NSC do so in a manner that's efficient and effective in meeting the comprehensive needs of our community. BJC, Teen Outreach Program, TOP works in collaboration with NSC to provide opportunities for teens in the district to participate in after-school clubs with over 25 sessions with curriculum activity component. Each semester, TOP will plan and execute service projects that enable each student to reach a minimum of 10 service learning hours per semester. There are a total of 40 that are needed for graduation. Jewish Family Services, who are now providing coats as needed to schools. They provide information and support with the child abuse prevention program. And that goes all the way through preschool to grade 12. Kids Vision for Life, their mission is to deliver vision services to under-resourced children through a school-based model and eliminate poor vision as a barrier to learning in order to achieve higher academic and social outcome. I think we need adult vision for life too, because I work on Operation Food Search. This MOU mission is to heal hunger with innovative and collaborative solutions with the district. I provide food today and help to create a hunger-free tomorrow for our students. Parents as teachers, their mission focuses on increased parent education programs that shed light on the importance of parent involvement in the educational lives of our children. Additionally, they provide resources to assist parents and schools to work collaboratively in supporting student growth. Also, I think working with parents as teachers, that'll help us build what we're working on called Parent University. St. Vincent Core Collective, this organization's mission is to work collaboratively with NSC to promote positive mental health and support to those seeking therapeutic help and to provide any additional resources needed. And the Little Bit Foundation, their mission is achieved through a unique model of service delivery in which Little Bit is embedded in school communities, coordinating programs and partnerships that fill the gaps and provide for the needs of the whole child through one-on-one interaction with each student. Those are the 11 that we have for tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Brooks. Any questions from the board? One question I have, actually, is can you talk, there seems to be a bit of an overlap, strategic overlap between our work, your work, and beyond housing as it relates to our strategic partnerships. Can you just talk a little bit about the strategy behind that and how that is incorporated into what we're trying to do with the district?
That's exactly right. Yes, so what we want to do, we want to make sure that we have multiple opportunities to provide services for our students. For instance, if we work with the AKA, they provide services and they're working out of a school. But if we, for instance, if we have a program working out of a school, even though they're helping everyone, we want to be able to have other positions in the district that can help maybe on the other side of the district as well. So things such as coats, like I said, we have organizations that provide that. But if we have partnerships with multiple we'll be able to cover, be able to cast our net wider. So a lot of attention in that.
Dr. Brooks, could you explain to the board how this selection process?
This process was pretty tedious. When we first started, we worked with Dr. Triplett, and we wanted to make sure that we narrow down the focus on the MOUs. There were quite a few MOUs that were being presented that weren't really having an impact if they were showing up at all. So what we had to do, we had to vet each and every one. We had to make sure we let them know the new criteria, and the new criteria was more stringent. In doing so, we were able to come up with, right now, 11 MOUs or partnerships that are really focusing on helping our students. We have some that are still working to make revisions based on what their criteria was. So next year, we made a decision, Dr. Triplett, we want to make sure that after we go through the evaluation process to check their efficacy and being able to help our students, they have to have all MOUs in prior to the beginning of school.
How many MOUs did we start with before you carried it down?
That was about 60.
You said 16?
16. Thank you.
All right, moving on to item number 5.02, property update. Mr. Jossie, give the floor to Jossie Haynes from AI.
Good evening, parents of the children. Good evening, board. Good evening, Dr. Triplett. Good evening, Mr. Rollins. So we're going to be talking about the property update. So this plan shows our current completion dates. West Hall is complete. The SCA was substantially complete on May 14 of this year. East Hall is substantially complete as of 7/15/23 this year. Central Hall, previously we were showing the date of February 28th, and we're currently under review of the new schedule that will be presented in a future date. The bus lot is still to be completed. Here's a picture of the secure connector. If you've had a chance to come to the building, this is the first thing that you see as you walk through the doors. This is the part of the secured area. Substantial completion for this, as I said before, is 18. The first day of school year was amazing to see all the kids come in. We are currently undergoing the punch list items, which are the items that are the last bit of items that we have to go. We start off with 450 plus. Punch list items are down to 170, and we're daily tracking that. The secure connector here are some pictures of the south patio stairway and the south elevation. The secure connector, more information on the secure connector. Here's a picture of the second classroom. This is kind of the specialty classroom that will be used for the students. East Hall. So this is the portion of a project that we had to do some more work in, where there was, we wanted to make sure that the walls looked perfect for the students and for the school. The library interior is 100% complete. All classroom furniture is in place. The auditorium and locker room is still under construction and is scheduled to be done November 2023. East Hall interior. So this is construction progress on the East Library. You can see that the furniture is in place. All finishes as far as construction is complete. Right now you see the movement of furniture. East Hall interior improvements, construction progress. This is the locker room for the East Hall. This is underway. You can see that this is under construction still. There's still being cosmetic upgrades are being done in the space. There were some other items that were taking place in here that are currently at the end of its road, and we should be done at the end of this month. Central Hall interior improvements, construction progress updates. So this is the space where we had talked last time, where this is still under construction, has a lot of items that have been identified as unforeseen conditions. So you see a picture of hot water, of a man working on the hot water, chilled water piping, which is 90% complete. The fan coil units, FCU units, are in place on all floors except for the band room. Infill of the old locker rooms on the second and third floor complete. And we have new classroom spaces on all floors framed out except for the band room. Here's a shot of an electrician from one of our MDEs working on a fan coil unit. He's currently putting in the electrical installation for this particular device. Central Hall. Here's some more pictures. Last time I spoke, we were talking about some of the issues with the walls. This is a picture of some of the walls that you can see that are not connected to the ceiling and currently being handled as we speak. Here, next slide is about funds. These are the funding sources, including the property, the multiple sources, totaling up to $44,740,217. This is the running tally of the update of any items that are approved changes, pending changes, potential change orders, and then a current potential contract amount of $40 million plus that we're tracking every day. One of the things I wanted to say is, as your construction manager, I started digging through the data and how many years we've been on this project. We have a lot of information, and I would encourage you, if you ever get a chance to come to our OAC meetings that are held on Wednesday, and also our bond meetings that are held on Thursday evening. We go through this in detail.
What does OAC stand for?
OAC means owner, architect, contractor meeting. Property update. So this is, the last time I was here, we had talked about company coming back with information about our MDE spend. Currently, the goal for our MDE spend when we first were awarded this project is 25%. We're currently managing 32.88%, so we're above that goal. This is for minority business enterprises. So these are all minority-owned firms that are working on this particular project. These are the names of the contractors that are working on the project, and we're super excited to reach this type of goal because it's not always seen. Next slide is for women business enterprises. These are the firms that are owned by females, and we are currently managing $939,000 of work with them. The goal was 5%. We're currently at half of that currently, and it's difficult to get. The construction industry is riddled with men. So one of the things that we're trying to do, even on my front, is work with more women-owned businesses. So if you have a business, please talk to me. Here is a property savings. So currently it's hard to read, but we, as your construction manager, we are not the general contractor. We work in conjunction with the board and also the school to work through many issues. And we are showing here that today we have negotiated savings above $1.6 million. We've also been able to find credits up to over $400,000, and that's what this slide is talking about. Community student outreach. Last time I was here, I was asked to make sure to come back with some information talking about our outreach update. So Construction Reach is a program that we partner with Target, KAI. We've done two in the last 2 years, and the first year we had Normandy involved, and the second year we had over 100 students come out on 2 different occasions to partake in these initiatives. You see pictures here where they were actually working with construction materials, also design, computer-aided design, augmentation, where they had opportunity to see what today's view of how we design construction projects from the architectural standpoint. So we were able to show them different opportunities in the career. On the left-hand side, my team there, I actually took that picture. This is a schedule we were working through. They had to go through almost like a chess game, had to figure out where should they sequence their project if they were running this project so that they were acting as construction project managers. This is a picture, some more pictures of them, of the students working on different activities. On the left is plumbing, of course walls, and then fixturing, which you'll see at Targets. You'll see like the walls that you see product on. They were putting them together. That was probably one of the highlights for them. A lot of folks said they loved that. A lot of the kids said they liked that a lot, so that was pretty cool just to see them engaged. This is another event. We have an AEC, which stands for Architectural Engineering and Construction. We were introducing the kids. We invited Normandy Schools collective, the kids, to come out and bus them over to our facility where we were able to have them engage with our architects, our engineers, and our construction managers for a day, where they were able to just look through materials, look through products, and talk to our staff to find out if they were interested in the construction industry. And we had a few, and I'm proud to say that even today I got a call from Dr. J, and he said, hey, I have a student that's ready to work with you guys, so we're looking for opportunities for this young lady. So this is the update on our current activities that we're working on. So this is a really good shot of the students that were there. Thank you.
Thank you, Johnson. Questions, comments from the board?
I have a few questions. You said there's, the STA in East Hall is substantially completed. When will it be fully completed? You said at the end of November. So will that change, or is it at the end of November?
The SCA is substantially complete. As you know, we're using the facility, but we're talking, when I talk about the SCA, we're talking about the punch list items. Those are just the items that, as we look at the project that's complete, we want to make sure that the work that was done is also up to the standard that we are expecting for the drawings. So that work is an ongoing task. That particular contractor is a difficult contractor, and I would love to tell you that we will be 100% complete. The goal is for them to be done before the end of the year. I've had conversations with their owner this was Thursday. I sat down with the owner of Wright Construction and brought up my concerns and made it a point that we would like for his participation in making sure his staff understands the severity of getting this project done. So it's done. There's nothing that's inhibiting anybody from using the space. It's just like paint. Sweeping this area, make sure these areas are clean. And they're actively working on it. It went from 400 items when we were substantially complete to now 170. So to answer your question, we're tracking a date, and he told me that he's going to be committed to finishing on November at the end of this month.
Okay, and I also see that the Central Hall has a completion date for February 28th of next year. Is there any possibility that date will change?
Well, I said that was the previous date. We're working on a new schedule that to the board when I have finished my review on that schedule. So
February 28th may change.
It will change, for sure.
That's all that I have.
Thank you, Ms. Pierce. Another question? I have a couple. Jocelyn, can you just speak to the change orders to an untrained eye or someone not familiar with the construction industry? Just give a little background on how we got there and what the efforts have been made to address that and how we've been managing the process.
Yeah, absolutely. So, on a typical project, the drawings will be 100% complete. When we entered this project, the drawings weren't all complete. So there were items that were left out of scope. So the first thing that we did as construction managers was make sure that we identified an allowance for the unscoped items. So when you look at, if I were to show you a graph, you see that almost close to 50% of the scope wasn't even addressed on the drawings. So we had to basically build the project and design it at the same time. So when you see the astronomical number for the change orders, understand that it was the decision of that particular administration at that time who decided that they wanted to move forward because time was important, and also was not really taking into account the fact that the quality of the drawings were where they needed to be when we hired general contractors for the project. So that's my best, kind of for the novice, if you don't understand. Typically, right, when we're working on talking about that, Ms. Violet Taylor was talking about her space and her home. You want to carry some type of contingency, and that contingency is typically around anywhere between 15 and 20% on a 100-year-old building. Right now, for all three, we have 3 different projects that we're managing as one, right, under our preview, that we're holding close to that 20%, and that's a strong feat when you think about the fact that they weren't complete drawings. They were unidentified items that were not completely get around. That was a white box. A white box is where you say, okay, we're just going to build a room. There's nothing inside of that space, no electrical, no outfit of any type of finishes. That's what we got, and we've been able to manage that project. Not without a hitch, as Mr. Humphrey can tell you, we sit in a room, we go back and forth on all the items, making sure that we're getting exactly what the district wants.
The other one is regarding the name secure connector. I've gotten a little feedback from board members and otherwise that a naming convention, the secure connector, we already have a secure school, so coming up with some sort of name convention that's other than secure connector, just consider that. And I know I'm giving you that's driving the OAC process, but I think that's for Dr. Triplett and others to really think about that as far as the naming convention. And then on the trade industry, so we have a lot of students that may not necessarily want to proceed with a traditional higher education, college, so forth, but want to go into the trades. So it sounds like this program that you have is introducing our students to those industries. And I just want to make sure that Dr. Triplett and staff are really identifying those individuals and making sure that they have a pathway, and particularly a pathway with deployment with KAI, that I understand, to continue the effort. So really appreciate that and want to continue to just reinforce that. That's all I have. Mr. Hodge.
Thank you so much. Just one comment. I just love the picture where our students visited your offices, and your offices look very much like our new high school. And so it's really great for our students to have that kind of experience. So thank you for that. But I also wanted to make sure that we recognize Ms. Belton and to get her feedback from what she has seen as our student.
So I would say that the construction looks nice, the connector is the best. But it really looks nice and you guys are doing good.
I'm passionate about our children. I was once a child, and I had aspirations of being a businessman, and I decided to get into construction. I joined a trade at a young age, and it's something that I really want our neighborhoods to see, that even though you may not be a doctor or a lawyer, most facilities that are being used all facilities that are being used were done by construction tradesmen. It's a dying art right now because the baby boomers are leaving. So this is my little 1-minute speech of please consider the opportunity that the careers are starting folks off at $100,000 a year. That's unseen, because when I started at $7 an hour. That was 24 years ago. I've been in the construction industry for 24 years, and I'm super excited to see that there are a lot of African Americans, minorities, women are getting into the trade, and I have a personal goal of making sure I'm introducing them to what we do.
Thank you for the report. Item number 5.3, budget and finance update. We'll go to Mr. Brooks.
Good evening, Joint Executive Governing Board and Dr. Triplett and the Normandy Schools Collaborative Community. I'm here this evening to present a financial report on the district's financial position. In looking at what you've been providing as the board with materials on how we're doing, how we're trending. We're doing fairly well. We've had year-to-date, actually through September, the first quarter, we've had $10.6 million of receipts or revenues that we've collected, largely around our state funding for this year-to-date period of time. We've got about $7 million of that amount coming from our state funding. We've got expenditures that are at about $18 million that we've been paying out year-to-date. Of course, those expenditures are higher than the revenues that we've basically been collecting, and the reason for that, of course, we've got to pay out, but our revenues trend are collected slower than our expenditures. We receive, as a school district, the the bulk of our local revenues in December and January on local tax receipts on property, on tangible personal property as well as real estate and commercial property. And so we'll see a huge influx of revenues that will be coming in December and January. With the expenses that have come through, that has driven our savings, our reserves down to just under $30 million, which is still a very strong fund balance position. We've got roughly about a 31.94 or just under 32% fund balance reserve for savings right now that we're holding, which is pretty strong. As I mentioned last month in our report, anything north of 20% as far as the fund balance is a strong position to be in. Now, I do want to point out that in the next couple of months, of course, as we wrap up and as we move toward December, we are going to be drawing that fund reserve down. And then again, that fund reserve is going to boost back up come December when we see the influx of revenues coming in. So we've got a positive financial picture at this time. Our salaries and benefits, of course, are our largest expenses that we've been paying out year to date. That just over $6.1 million is what we've been paying out in salaries and benefits, and we're continuing to do well financially. And so that's the financial report year to date or through September. And I'm ready to take any questions at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. Any questions from the board?
No questions, just a comment. I want to thank you for the simplification of the board's reports and financial reports that have been given. They are very straightforward, clear, and easy to understand. You don't need to be an accountant to understand it. Thank you for the clarity in our financial report.
Thank you, sir.
Any others? Hearing none, thank you, Mr. Brooks. All right. Moving on to item section 6, items for discussion and action. In this particular section, we have items that will be presented to the board for discussion. They have necessarily required action, but there are a few that will be. So we'll proceed with item 6.01, strategics. We're moving forward.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Jim Crutch. I'm the Regional Sales Director. I'm based in the Kansas City area, so not too far from you all. Derek, my co-partner here, I'll let him introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Derek Rowe. I've been with Strategics from the beginning. I've been in Southern Alabama. And just to kind of introduce us, Jim's going to show you about the solution, what it does. But I actually spent 8 years in a K-12 environment as a CIO, and more important than that to me, my brother was a teacher, and then a vice principal, and then a principal. And because I always really kind of learned the reality of situations of how things can really work in a school setting, or things really as good as they look on paper, through my own experience. And so I always tell folks, when you look at our solution, what was exciting was we had the ability to, I was a part of the creation of it in the sense that I was kind of that voice of the customer. And what we are is we're about enabling people in an emergency to be able to call for help, and you know who they are and where they are and help comes. And if you think about it, in an emergency, most of us lose a lot of critical factors. And so to require someone to maybe try to get a phone out and use it, or maybe I'm trying to get to a button on the wall, the reality, what we had seen was there may not be a button on the wall because you may be on the playground when a child has a seizure, or you may be in a hallway or in a restroom and there's a fight that breaks out. And so the problem that we worked to solve was, how to let every single employee, not just teachers, but custodians, principals, cafeteria workers, when a child's choking or again a fight might break out, whatever it might be, how to let everybody quickly and easily in an emergency call for help, and then the right people on campus, they know who they are, where they are, and help is on the way. It's just all about saving time in those situations of emergency. when you think about an emergency, I know in today's day and age, people think safety, they automatically think, God forbid, school shootings, and understandably, because they're in the news. You'll see how we deal with that. I think it's the best solution out there. But what was really important for us is to address every type of emergency. So again, the medical, the upset parent, the behavioral issue, a runner, something that can be used in literally every type of incident where I need help and help to know and come to me. And so anyway, so we created this in 2018. We've grown. We're now 43 states. What I love about it, my district that I worked at was about 46 schools, and I know we look at some solutions and say, well, that's for a small district or that's for a large. We're in everything from single school charter schools to 3 of the top 10 largest districts in the country. So, and including in your area, several districts that are comparable in size to you. But I'm going to just turn it over. I always like to just introduce it, just because it was just exciting. I think it's important to know it kind of meets that reality check of the school world, because that's where everything is actually happening. It's important to be able to function in those. But I'm going to let Jim just share with you kind of how the system works.
Thank you, Derek. All right, so as Derek mentioned, we're going to talk to you about our safety platform, specifically the wearable technology that allows any staff member to call for help and get that help immediately. So this system allows every staff member to initiate 2 different types of alerts. 99% of the usage is going to be what we call a staff alert, and I'll get into that in a minute. I want to talk a little bit about how the system works holistically. So as far as you'll see here on the screen here, you'll see a map. This would be a map of one of your schools. And what we'll do is we'll take your existing maps, whether they're CAD drawings or maps in a PDF format, and we'll render those maps to scale within our system. From there, we go, the next step would be for us to install our equipment, and we're going to install a strobe in every single classroom. Looks like this, and this allows us to get the level of detail of where the incident is taking place. So this strobe serves 2 purposes. It acts as a locating beacon. It also serves as a visual alert in an emergency situation. I'll get into that a little bit more here. Now, it's important to identify and talk a little bit about, okay, well, as a staff member, I press this badge 3 times. Who gets that alert? And so at the school level, you're going to designate who gets that alert. Typically at a school level, that's going to be a principal, could be an SRO, could be a mental health specialist, whoever you want to designate to get that alert, usually about 4 to 5 individuals. You want to have a little bit of redundancy. So I'm going to get into the alerts. Keep in mind that this solution works indoors and outdoors. So we're covering your entire campus, every school, all the parking lots, your fields, and of course the interior of the building. Total campus coverage. So again, 2 types of alerts: staff alert, campus-wide lockdown alert. So again, staff alert, these are the scenarios. So medical emergency, I can tell you as a father, I have 3 kids under the age of 7. The special needs son has a lot of medical conditions. One of the things mom and dad deal with is seizures. So I'm incredibly proud as a dad to have this technology in my local school district in Kansas City, because I know when I drop my kid off at school, my son, that if he has a seizure, that he can get that help quickly. And listen, I've been in a situation where I've almost lost my son. This technology is the fastest way to get help. Derek touched on outside of medical situations, could be a fight, could be a runner. This technology, the power of this badge, we have so many life-saving stories, and I'm happy to share those life-saving stories with you in a PDF format. But this technology can save a life. What happens? Staff member, I pressed that badge 3 times. Derek said, call for help. So what happens next? Your responder group They're going to see a map on their cell phone. They're going to also see, if they're in front of their computer, they're going to see this map. You'll see a dot outside of that classroom or office. So you know exactly who pressed that alert and where they're located. It's important to have that precise location accuracy to be able to get that help to that person. It could be a medical, like I said, a medical emergency. It could be a kid acting up. This is very discreet. So a teacher, we talk about loss of instructional time in our classes, in our schools today. If you have a student who is acting up and you want to discreetly call for help, press that badge 3 times. So if you all want to experience what that feels, feel free to press that badge 3 times and you'll know. You'll see a vibration, you get a vibration on the badge. That vibration is to let you know that that alert has been sent out and received by the responder group. Okay, so let's touch on the campus-wide scenario. This would be typically a lockdown situation. Active shooter. One of our school districts in Texas last Friday. Student walked into the bathroom, saw another student loading a gun. That student ran out of the bathroom, immediately contacted the staff member. That staff member pressed that badge 8 times, and this is what happens in a lockdown alert. So I'm going to kind of walk you through what actually happens in a lockdown situation. So instead of a 3-click press on the badge, when we train the districts that we work with, we just keep on pressing this badge. The actual button on the badge, the magic number is 8. Just keep on pressing until you see the strobe lights go off. We also integrate with your intercom system, so you're going to get an auditory message. Hey, we're in a lockdown situation. We're letting everybody in the school know we're in a lockdown situation. You also see that there's a lockdown message. We integrate with every PC and Mac. So there's a piece of software that we also want to have a visual, not just the auditory, but the visual. So you're getting both. And it's important that in a lockdown situation that we notify not just the responders at the school level, but also the responders at the district level. You can set it up and configure it any way you like. More importantly, we want to notify law enforcement. So all of the steps here you're seeing, all of the workflow, all of this is happening in real time. Your authorities, local police are notified. We integrate with them. We have 3 different law enforcement integrations. They can have access to our maps in real time. And so they can actually see on the map where the situation is taking place. So they're not having to sweep halls in a serious situation like an active shooter to find out where the incident. They know exactly where that incident is taking place. Here's what happens in a lockdown. This kind of simulates.
This is a lockdown alert. Immediately lock your doors. Turn off the lights. Stay out of sight. This is a lockdown alert. Immediately lock your doors. Turn off the lights. Stay out of sight.
So these messages that would go over your display, your computers, that are customizable, whatever the alert type is. This is just a sample. Again, the strobes are going to be flashing as well. I will point out, Derek, maybe if you want to touch on this, other types of alerts that can be initiated through the system.
Yeah, there are other instances you might have. I remember when I was at our district, someone called the superintendent because they issued a warrant near a school and the person had fled. And so we call that a soft lockdown. Some call it a hold in place or secure the perimeter. So there are other instances that instead of being driven by the badge, they're driven by administrators like the principal, assistant principal, maybe an SRO. They're the only ones that have the ability to do that. But again, it might be a severe weather incident. There was a tornado in the area. But it's the same premise. Our goal is to mobilize the campus in seconds. And so the same thing could happen where from the app I can choose hold or soft lockdown or whatever, and there's a different color that's flashed, there's a different announcement that's made, there's a different message. But again, the bottom line is, whether I'm a student, a teacher, or whatever, I realize that there is a threat to the school that I've got to take action immediately, and so we're moving in seconds. And again, all of this is it's based on your protocols. We don't show up and say, well, here are your settings. You pick the name, the color, the verbiage, and all that.
And so it's important after an alert is initiated through the system, we want to make sure that we actually close out as an administrator at the school level. We want to select a reason of why we actually initiated, why this alert was initiated through the badge. So this, again, so you would at this point close out the alert. So this could have been a medical situation, it could have been a physical altercation, a fight. And the reason why we want to close out the alert is to have that actionable data. So you can make informed decisions based on that data within our platform. Just want to touch, Derek had mentioned, we were working with school districts of all sizes, some in your local area, Ladue, Lindbergh, Live for Life Academy, and we're in discussions with a few others here in the St. Louis area. I know Dr. Triplett, you were over at Olathe schools as well, and saw this technology firsthand. So just kind of a recap on the crisis alert system, the wearable technology. It's one badge, allows you to initiate 2 different types of alerts. Location, location, location accuracy. We know exactly where that help is needed to be able to get the help for that staff member who presses that alert. And it's immediate notification. We are independent of Wi-Fi and cellular, so this technology does not rely on any Wi-Fi or cellular technology, which is great, because you know in some of our schools, you can't get cellular signal, and if you're not connected to Wi-Fi, it's going to render the solution useless. And again, the audio and the visual notifications, and then total campus coverage. We cover the indoor and the exterior. I just want to switch gears. I got 2 more slides, I believe. Part of this system here, the badge, we've actually at Centesia has created a safety platform. So part of the purchase of the visitor of the crisis alert system, you would have access at no additional charge to our visitor management software, the license. The only thing that you would need to purchase is a scanner and a barcode reader to do a screening on your visitors to come on campus. Be able to do a background check, so you have all that information and approve or not approve. That's all I have. We're happy to answer any questions and appreciate your time today.
Thank you. I yield the floor to the board for any questions or comments.
I just have 2 questions. The first question is, our school district has 7 different schools. So does that alarm system go throughout the school district or just per school?
Yeah, so it would be for all the district sites and the other kind of related to that. This badge, so if I'm a principal at one school and I happen to be at a meeting, like today at a different school, the badges would work at every school. You know, everyone's badge works at any of the schools. You're letting that school know that you need help, so you're not having to worry about, I know you have floating teachers, I assume you do, we should figure that out, let me know. I'll benchmark that, but floating teachers and all, and so you don't have to worry about wherever they go, they'd be protected and be letting that school know.
And my next question is, what is the price point for your system?
Total is $361,000 for the system. That's a 5-year contract. We cover all the maintenance of the equipment, and keep in mind that this technology is wireless. The only wired device would be what we call a gateway. Derek can talk from a technology standpoint.
Especially with what you've done, when I talk about the reality of the design, all jokes aside, but one of the things, as an IT guy, I used to, as a CIO, I was the guy with the bad news when someone would say, here's what we want to do this, and you have to say, well, do you know how much money I've got to spend on the infrastructure to make it work? So just to put you at ease, when we say one of these goes into every room, that is a wire-free installation. There are no drops being run. For the teacher, like my brother was, you're not turning a really pretty room like this into something ugly with Android going down the walls. So again, wire-free, no switch upgrades required because we're not plugging into ports or anything like that. Absolutely, yeah, it's everything. That's licenses, install, monitoring. We're monitoring that. That's battery replacements, because I mentioned these are battery powered. your job or your IT's job again. Having been there, it's like this is not for someone else to inherit and go around and replace that. We're monitoring, and we would come out and replace those as well. So it is truly a, the total cost, if you will.
Thank you.
The $361,000, is that a single fee that covers 5 years, or is that $361 per year?
No, that is the total over the 5 years, not times 5.
Thank you, Mr. Humphrey. Any other questions?
Just quick, the only other thing I wanted to say, I noticed that you said that Lindbergh and Purdue are both using the system. Is there any way to get any kind of qualitative feedback from those districts to us, just to kind of share with us what they think about us if they're using it?
Yes. In fact, I can send you some news articles and YouTube videos of how they're using the system, and I'm happy to put you in touch with anyone you'd like to talk to over there. But I would say Lindbergh and Ladue are fairly new users of the system. Olathe probably would be the one who has the most experience as far as use, and Dr. Triplett, correct me if I'm wrong, about 50 schools roughly.
What is it? Is it 77 rooftops?
Yeah, admin buildings, I mean, again, just trying to cover all the areas that people need.
Ms. Hodge?
Yeah, thank you so much for this presentation. I know it's for informational purposes. We are doing all that we can to protect our young people, and when you start talking about a price tag, even if it saves one life, it's more than worth what you quoted to us. So thank you for the information. I'm just going to ask that you continue to work with our superintendent and with our building leaders. We have principals here who may have questions or more insight than we would have in this matter, but we support their decisions in that process.
Thank you, and actually, this is one of the items for information and action, so it sounds like, Dr. Triplett, this is being presented for the board to adopt this with the cost of $361,060 over a 5-year period, and that includes license, install, replacement, and infrastructure needs as well. Is that correct? Okay. All right, well,
And I have a question for Dr. Triplett. Dr. Triplett, what are your thoughts about these measures? What have you heard from our building leaders, and even your own experience here, if you have?
My own experience is this is an absolutely incredible product. We've used it in Olathe. I was in Olathe for 2 years, and of the 2 years, we had it for about a year. Useful around classroom management, the data that we collected and provided professional development for. There was no abuse of the system. Teachers loved it. Actually, everyone loved it because it gave immediate attention to where the trouble spots were and the push of the button. These badges that it really, if you notice about the badges, you have to intentionally push these buttons because they kind of sit back off in the badge, so you can't mistakenly push it. And so they cover all the badges, they replace the badges, and those kinds of things. All positive experiences in Olathe. I've preached this to several of our principals. Our principals are just whatever is going to keep the schools safe. They're with what is going to keep the schools safe. And so these senior leadership team, we saw this presentation maybe in the spring with a program then, and so I'm kind of excited and hope that the board approves the recommendation.
all right, with that, entertain a motion to adopt the strategic proposal.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and properly seconded that we approve the strategic proposal. Any discussion? Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same privilege. The ayes have it. Thank you for your presentation. 6.02, professional development plan.
Good evening. Again, I'm Anthony Taylor, the coordinator for data assessment and professional development for the district. Greetings, Executive Board. On behalf of our esteemed Superintendent, Dr. Michael Triplett, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to each of you. During our previous meeting, you graciously approved the Professional Development Handbook, which has been instrumental in guiding our efforts to enhance the growth and development of our staff through explicit guidelines inspired by DESE, Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. On page 13 of the handbook, or the Professional Development Handbook, you should see the guiding overarching goals. Student performance, looking at how well our students are performing in the classroom, staff, recruitment and retention, facilities, instructional resources, parent community involvement, etc. Later on page 15, you read through I drilled down professional development goals that are generated from student achievement data such as iReady, Adventum, MAP, and EOC data. One of the goals, for example, professional learning communities, where we inspire adults to be learners, be collaborative, and push for results. Goal 2, increase student learning that is guided and directed by our professional development. We believe that when adults learn, kids learn. Goal 3, data-driven. We like to make informed decisions based off data, student achievement data, and all the data across the district. And number 4, goal 4, new teacher induction. That is a requirement by DESE that we, our new folks, bring on teachers with our mentor and mentoring program. This evening I stand before you knowing that you review the calendar outlined for adult activities for the remainder of the year, beginning on page 20, going through page 39, starting on page 20 through 39. Each department in the district, from curriculum instruction to career technology education, we ask each of the departments to spell out their PD topics, learning activities, dates, timelines, persons responsible, and data collected. I did catch an error on page 22. There, the dates are out. Back to you guys so you have an updated copy. We do apologize for the error on page 22 of the handbook. Next steps, in accordance with the requirements from DESE, we've taken the necessary steps to establish the District Professional Development Committee. The committee has been populated by certified teachers from each campus. This committee will convene monthly with an inaugural meeting starting this Thursday on November the 16th. This gathering presents a remarkable opportunity for us to come together, collaborate, collectively work toward our shared aspiration of promoting excellence in education throughout our district. Again, the Professional Development Committee from the district will come on a monthly basis throughout the remainder of the year to strategize and organize district-wide professional development incentives for the 2020. In addition, this committee will diligently assess and sanction all professional development requests that are put forward. Another next step, to enhance the dissemination of professional development, building level PD committees will be established within each campus and report their findings or PD needs to the District Professional Development Committee. To learn the PD needs, our District Professional Development will send out a needs assessment to the entire district next week to determine what the professional development needs are within the district. This comprehensive approach aims to ensure that all stakeholders are well informed and actively participants in the growth and development of our district. To end our collective efforts and unwavering determination, we're committed and we're confident that these accomplishments will be achieved by the passing and of the professional learning, the professional development vote, and the activities that are attached. Thank you. If you have any questions, I see.
Thank you. Any questions, comments from the board?
I do have two questions. I guess as I looked at the professional development plan, I didn't see any reference to the work that's going on with the district with Solution Tree. So I'm trying to see if there's any relationship between the work of Solution Tree and the things that are identified in the PD plan, and if so, how do these activities relate to that?
Thank you for the question, sir. Yes, it's directly related to the work that we're doing with the Solution Tree. When you look at the professional learning communities and the data team, it's the work that Solution Tree is manning and supporting throughout buildings. We support those efforts by training our teachers to be data analysts, to collect information, to be learners, to be collaborative. And so yes, we're working in conjunction with Solution Tree. And that's not noted, but that can be.
And I guess the second question I had was does the PD plan, how do you measure that impact on student outcomes after teachers have gone through all the professional development? How do you determine whether or not it's driving student learning in a way? How do you measure that?
Well, one of the ways that we do that, obviously, we're going to look at our common core lessons, we're going to look at our high-stake tests, the math, the ELC, we'll look at our rating scores, and the things that our teachers are going, the trainings that they're going through are directly related to math and ELA. And so there's ways that we can certainly measure the effect of strategies that are being implemented. Another way is some anecdotal information through our walkthroughs to see if the strategies are being used, through our collaborative conversations that we have in the PLCs to see if there's been some change in climate and culture pieces that are related to those instructional practices as well.
Ms. Humphrey, you have comments, questions? Then, I'll entertain a motion to approve the updated professional development plan as presented. So moved. It's been moved and properly seconded that we adopt the updated professional development plan. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, same privilege. All right, the ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 6103, NSBA full maintenance agreement with the school collaborative, 23-24. So, the board has had a chance to review the agreement. Any questions related to that for public discussion? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agreement. Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agreement. It's been moved and properly seconded that we adopt the NSBA full maintenance agreement. Any discussion?
It may need to be clarified for the record what does Missouri School Board Association actually is, for those who do not know.
You want to, who do I yield the floor to address that question? Peterson.
Excuse me for a second, before we move on, 2 seconds.
Dr. Peterson, who will address comments from NSBA. Thank you, Dr. Peterson, who is also an alumnus of Normandy.
Right, class of '88. All right. So Missouri School Boards Association is an organization, it's a statewide organization that is formed by boards for boards. And so we help support boards across the state of Missouri and help them with professional development, we help them with growth, we help them with different things. We have branches of advocacy that we work for. Boards have delegates where they get to vote on different things, various things state. So as far as the full maintenance agreement that you all have, it's an agreement of membership with the Missouri School Boards Association, where we provide a number of different things. And tonight, we're going to provide some professional development with the Northern Schools Collaborative as well.
Thank you, Dr. Peterson.
Thank you. Just wanted to make sure that that is known that this is a very important partner for our district. The district supported the training of your board in becoming a better servant to this district. We all had an opportunity to participate in their annual conference this month. And hopefully we'll have an opportunity in closing remarks to comment on that. And Dr. Peterson has been a wonderful partner and advisor to us throughout this process. So thank you, Dr. Peterson. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Mr. Hodge. All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, the motion is on the floor. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same privilege. All right, the ayes have it. Moving on to item number 6.04, cooperation agreement between the St. Louis County Board of Elections and Commissioners and the Northern School Collaborative. You've had a chance to read that as well. This, we cannot hear before to a good point in terms of what this is as far as what we're carrying out with the board of elections. Does anybody want to? Yeah, Ms. Rickey.
Good evening, everyone. Board President, Board, Dr. Triplett, everyone, good evening. In speaking with several school districts in our community, Riverview Gardens, as well as Kirkwood and Maplewood, Richmond Heights, they have taken on this agreement with the St. Louis County Board of Elections, where they'll help and assist and do our Board of Elections. Many districts are running into problems with having the districts being open during winter break, where our candidates can come up and be a part of the process, but the St. Louis County Board of Elections will take on that process for us, opposed to our district taking that on. There's no cost to this agreement, and then you'll find also in the literature that we put in board docs the nature of everything. So we think this is a great opportunity for us to take part in, and was hoping for your approval.
Thank you, Ms. Rickey. That I would entertain a motion to approve the agreement between the St. Louis County Board of Elections and Northern Schools Collaborative.
So moved.
All right, it's been moved and properly seconded that we approve the agreement. Any other discussion?
Yeah. One of the things I did want to clarify on this issue, the cooperative agreement, if this, I know at the MSBA meeting in Kansas City, there was a delegate forum where there was actually an election of the various school boards across the state. And specifically, the issue that came up was whether or not school districts would outsource that part of the election to county municipalities. The election that occurred during that meeting, the various school districts voted not to allow the counties to do that, the handling of the election process, because they felt that that entire process should be handled by local control. And they felt by outsourcing that would get away from that. So I think one of the things we might want to do, just to make sure that we have clarity around the direction with MSBA and the delegates of the state, if there is there anything about this that's time sensitive that requires a decision tonight? Is there anything about it?
Yes. We're actually was looking to have this done last month. However, signatures went on before it entered the board. So it is very time sensitive. And from the research that I've done, many school districts are really happy with the process in which the election board is taking over this process for us, because during the winter break, all school districts are closed, and so that's causing a problem for candidates to be able to come up and be a part of that process. So yes, it is time sensitive.
Let me ask you another question. As a part of this process, are we saying that process where individuals that want to run for school board, that they would go to the county municipality to sign up as opposed to coming to the district office?
Yes.
Okay, and the reason, I just want to make sure that was the issue because I did sit in that delegate meeting as a representative of the district, and the MSBA across the state voted contrary to this particular decision. So I just ask us to look at this very closely because we would be putting ourselves, making a decision that's contrary to the decision that's been made statewide, so.
Thank you. Eric? Any other discussion?
I understand that there are currently 4 board members that have gone through the election process, and I ask each of us to consider our process and how it was handled. I will tell you that the most cumbersome part of that election process was actually going through the counting for the election process, and I don't know if it was because we internally had support systems in the district to support us as candidates to help walk us through that. Now, it could be that we don't currently have the resources to manage that process right now, but it is something that I think we should discuss. If we have the internal resources to handle the election, most of you know that there will be 3 board members that will roll off of the board. We will have a fully elected board in 2024. And so that election process is very critical to our district. So if you could, Superintendent Grigsby, to be able to talk to us about available resources to manage the process if we do not approve this tonight.
I don't think we're in a position to manage it. Just in-house, no training that we take place, any of those things. And so I think that it's fair initially to seek resources that can support the district. And moving forward, we should have things in place to better assist ourselves. But right now, I don't think we have the resources to do so.
Any other discussion?
Perhaps, agreement says in perpetuity. Perhaps we could construct that language since we're not prepared to have the election. Perhaps we can amend the document to say for the upcoming election only. And so that we have time to think about it after that, rather than saying we're going to do this from now on.
If I could also have, I guess my concern is that while we're looking at this particular proposal, we just had individuals that came through the board, and we had staff within the district that managed those processes successfully because they are here on the board. So I'm concerned when we say we don't have the level of support because we've been handling it every year up until now.
We could have a conversation about it later. I'm not familiar. I'm not sure how much familiarity anyone else is with the process you speak of.
Any other discussion?
Well, we can have that because before the event, you had the other person, with administration, she handled all of that. So the process is internal. It's just a matter of getting with her, making sure that everybody knows what happened between December 5th and December 26th. So it's not a very complicated process, but we have the people in the house that have managed it before.
Okay, any other discussion? We have a motion on the floor, and I think the motion was to approve the agreement. But I think in the discussion with the removal of perpetuity, and just for this calendar year, for this year, we would approve the agreement under those circumstances. Is that accurate?
I have a question, Mr. Howard. So you said it's just for this calendar year, correct?
Yes.
There's a motion to amend the agreement. So what we have in front of us is a very, very vague agreement right now. So, I am going to motion to table this agreement.
Well, we have a motion on the floor first, so let's vote on it, and then we can.
Point of order, who made the motion? Who was the original person who made the motion?
I didn't make the motion, I made the comments.
There's no motion.
Valerie,
Okay.
point of order, if Valerie made the motion, it would be proper to ask her if she would like to amend the motion.
Sure. And who was the second? So, did you not get that?
There was no second.
Okay.
Second. Okay, so we really.
Okay, I take it back. It was Pat and then it was Pat.
Yes, so we do have a motion.
So the point of order would be to have her to amend her motion, to table it as Harlan had mentioned.
So I yield the floor to Ms. Patton. Okay. So let's proceed with let's state it so that we can make it correct. How do we amend the motion? I mean,
Harlan, your suggestion for amendment.
I move to table it.
Okay. So
we have a motion on the floor, so how do we, if we can amend the current motion, we can vote on it. If we vote it down, then, we can proceed accordingly. So, right now we have a motion on the table, and we want to amend it. I'm using the floor to Valerie to amend it with,
since she's willing to amend it, so are you willing to amend your motion to table?
I think
no.
clarity here, it is to amend the motion to include a limited contractual agreement to 1 year.
So it's been amended. So we have a motion on the floor. So let's call for a vote. We can call for a roll call vote, because I see where this is going. So I'll vote this.
Mr. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Hodge,
Yes.
Ms. Taylor,
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey,
No.
Ms. Patton, Ms. Williams, Ms. Pierce.
Yes.
All right, the ayes have it, motion carried. So, moving on to, item number 6.05, the 2023 SSD agreement to reimburse Carter District for ECSC costs. Do I yield the floor to this? Mr. Brooks? I'll yield the floor to Mr. Brooks.
Good evening again, Board of Education and Dr. Triplett. You have before you this agenda item. It's basically an agreement from the special school district in partnership with the other 22 districts it serves in St. Louis County to basically reimburse us for its presence in our district in the utilization of some of our resources, janitorial services, printing, utilities, etc. They are scheduled to reimburse us $39,350. And this is an annual agreement, basically, to partner with them to reimburse us for their presence in our district.
All right, motion, entertain a motion to approve the agreement in the amount of $3,665.
$39,350.
I'm sorry. I'm off by Yeah.
Second.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so Ms. Williams and
Okay, restate the motion. All right. So there's a motion on the floor. Any discussion? Any discussion? All right, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same privilege? The ayes have it. Motion carried. So moving on to item 6.06, alternative methods of instruction plan. I yield the floor to Dr. McCollum.
To our board, our superintendent, Dr. Michael Triplett. My name is Tiffany McConnell. I'm the Executive Director of Curriculum and Instruction, and tonight I will be sharing with you our district's alternative method of instruction plan. Beginning fall 2020, school districts are no longer required to make up any lost instruction or canceled instruction due to emergency circumstances if the district implements what's called an alternative method of instruction. Normandy has submitted its plan to DESE, and we are currently awaiting its approval. Our plan has 3 alternative methods of instruction. The first being remote learning, where our students will be engaged in synchronous and asynchronous learning. Students will not report to the school sites. However, district staff will report to the buildings unless otherwise directed by our superintendent, Dr. Triplett. So teachers will be engaged in virtual instruction. They will use our identified various virtual programs or platforms such as Google Meet or Zoom. Plan B gives our students access to assignment packets that will be printed and provided by the schools, and also continued access to all of our district curricular digital platforms such as Zoom, Google Classroom, iReady, and Edmentum. Plan C is our hybrid model. This is where our students will be engaged in a combination of face-to-face instruction as well as remote learning instruction. Here's a sample of our elementary schedule. We also, within the plan, have a sample of our middle school schedule and our high school schedule. You'll see here that the school day remains intact. A sample here shows from 8 to 3:30. All 4 core content areas will be taught along with our encore classes, and any students that are receiving special school district services will continue to have access to those services. Whether it be traditional or virtual learning, the instructional process comprises of 3 basic steps: instructional planning and preparation, instructional delivery, and assessment. Our plan clearly identifies the resources and the tools that foster a coherent and, I would also say, a coherent and sequential process for each of the 3 basic areas. So you'll see here that our teachers will still be required to provide lesson plans. Those lesson plans will be posted on Google Classrooms. They will also be required to continue with the BBC process, any agendas or schedules. They will also still be engaged in professional learning communities in order to enhance the planning and preparation for instruction. The instructional delivery, the tools that will be used would be Zoom, Nearpod, Desmos, Alex, and again, any curricular digital resources that we currently have in place. Assessment practices will remain the same. Students will engage in iReady and Edmentum at the high school, and again, any other curricular assessments that are currently in place. Our plan also denotes other departments and how they will aid in AMI days, from our finance and business office, student support services, human resource department, how they will aid any staff, and then technology will play a very key role with the distribution of Chromebooks, need of technology, and also any virtual tutorials that need to take place. I'll be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you, Dr. McConnell. Questions, comments, board?
We're going to be saying that if they didn't have Chromebooks, the families, not all of our families are privileged to have Chromebooks, tablets, or things of such. You said worksheets and workbooks will go home?
Correct. Assignment packets will go home with students.
Okay, and are these days pre-planned days, or are they just like spare them on the snow days? The water heater went out in the building?
Right. It could be a combination of both. If there's a forecast of bad weather and our superintendent makes the decision that we would need to take a snow day, then we would be able to provide our students with assignment packets to go home with them that particular day in preparation for the AMI day. My only issue with that is, let's say we live in St. Louis, so it's 70 degrees today and maybe 30 degrees tomorrow and maybe snowing. And they're not able to get those packets like they left this evening. They weren't able to get those packets, but it's an AMI day tomorrow. How would that work be made up for those students? Well, we could post the assignments in Google Classroom. So students would be able to log on to either Google Classroom or any of our digital resources. Students already currently have access to our digital resources, and assignments can be posted there as well. But what if the parents don't have access to the internet? So they could contact. Is there a backup plan for that? They could contact the district, contact the school, and then we would connect with technology and make preparations for them to receive a hotspot.
Okay. I have a comment. I'd just like to thank you so much for the presentation. I'd just like to say in the past, there has always been, for me, an issue with the information being relayed, in a timely manner. So I guess I kind of want to put it to the superintendent. If the information can go out early enough where parents are aware that this is going to be a snow day or whatever the reason is, in the past, we didn't get the information until it was too late. And when I say information, if there's a forecast of impending weather, you can watch the news report and you saw every school. You didn't get normally this information until the morning of. That's not good for parents who work early. Some parents had to leave home and didn't know until later that their children are at home. So if we can get the information out there early on, that's really what I'm trying to say. Make sure that the information is out there and the parents are aware of it. Just happened to pull up my email today and it said that one of the bus routes was going to be late. The email didn't come out until 7:33. If a parent has already left for the day and they left a child at home and that child has to walk to the bus stop by themselves, that child, the parent had no idea that the bus is going to be late. And when you say it's going to be late, how late is it going to be? So those are the things I'm looking at. You understand what I'm saying? I'm looking at it from a parental vision. So that if we can get the information out there, that's one of the things that I'm most concerned about, because we don't want our children out on the bus stop, not knowing when the bus is going to come. And if the weather's going to get bad, like Ms. Teresa said, 70 today, tomorrow 8:35. And so we want to get the information sent out there in a timely manner. Thank you.
As you understand of it.
So a couple of things, Board Member Pearson, Board Member Taylor. This plan here is a mandated plan by the state. Every school district has to have an AMI plan, okay? That's separate of what communication needs to happen with families and students as it pertains to snow days or emergency days, God forbid another pandemic. But we have to have a plan in place just in case any of that, okay? And in order to get credit for the attendance, we have to have this in place in order to get credit for the attendance.
Any other questions, comments?
I understand that it's a statement plan, and I think that it's a great idea. I'm just one of those people with the what ifs. Because if, for example, if they live today and it's a snow day tomorrow, and they don't have technology at home, you can provide them with the hotspot, but then what would they use it on? I just want to make sure that they're able to make up their work or not be penalized for not having the work because they don't have the means. Absolutely, and our technology department will ensure that each of our students.
Thank you, Ms. Pearson. Before one point of clarification, this is actually an item that it's not just for information. We actually, there are implications if we do not approve this, correct? Correct. And those implications are what, can you just say that?
These are state implications.
Okay. So, I think Carl would like to next.
Thank you so much for this presentation. Two-part question. How was the planning informed? More importantly, did we have student input from it? And I'd love to hear from Michelle Belcher.
But you can answer the first part.
So before we answer that, Board Member Hodge, the district had no plan. District was not a plan for years. And so, C and I got together and we said we needed an alternative method of instruction. And so, then I asked the C and I to just kind of take over the process.
Dr. Connell, the plan was informed how, in answer to this question?
Just clarification, when you say how was it?
Yeah, so typically when we develop a plan, we look at best practices, the information. How did you come to this plan? How was it developed?
Yes, we did. We actually did some benchmarking. We looked at some surrounding districts and looked at their alternative method of instructional plan, and then made decisions based on our demographic, our student population, what would be best for them. So yes, we did do some benchmarking.
That's great. Did you receive any student or family input in this process?
The only, I would say, student and family input is historical, because we did, of course, have to engage in remote learning in the past. And so we've taken note of some of the feedback that we received from students and families and incorporated in this plan. But currently, no, we didn't reach out this particular year to solicit any input.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'd like to leverage this opportunity because we have a student representative here on the board. As you listen to this plan, Chef Belton, are there any concerns that come up for you?
My only concern is the teachers being able to post it quickly. Remote teachers don't do the Zoom, they just give us assignments. So is there any way where we can ensure that the teachers are on the Zoom assignments instead of doing the two?
Yes, there will be structures in place to ensure that lessons are posted. There will be monitoring of Google Classroom. It's much easier, actually, in a virtual setting remotely to ensure that teachers are following the expectations of the A&R plan. So,
Thank you for those comments. Yes, oh, sorry.
I guess a couple of things as we look. It's a great presentation in terms of the information. As you were talking, I used COVID as a lens to look through some of the conversation that we're having. And there's a couple of things. Number one, I think we already know based on COVID, if we didn't maintain the data, we need to be more proactive to know which of our families already don't have access to technology, so that if you have to flip the switch, it doesn't become a research project, because we have all of COVID to actually go through that to know, who had it, who didn't have it, who didn't have a hotspot. And so we just need to be a little bit more proactive around that, because I think ultimately, the other thing I think is a concern too, and you can tell, my understanding with computers at present, high school students are able to take home computers, and at the elementary level, I don't know about the middle school level, just start the middle school, but the kids are not able to take the technology home. They actually have classroom cards for that purpose. And so if in fact we have to go to an alternative plan, how do we get that technology from where it is to where it needs to be?
That's a whole different conversation. That conversation is centered around technology and ordering and all of that stuff. It's not a structured question. So I want to make sure we ask the right questions to the right people. That's a whole different conversation, Mr. Humphrey, that we can definitely, but I think it needs attention. But it needs to happen in a department. I think this is not the right department for that question.
If I could add some clarity, what we're looking at is one, adopting a plan, but then there's another discussion that will be pursued, the execution of the plan. So I think making sure we distinguish that discussion in that, one, the plan having an alternative method of instruction plan to adopt There are some final points that need to take place in terms of execution of the plan. You heard some of the comments today, and I saw you taking notes. So there needs to be an ongoing discussion in terms of making sure that execution is lessons learned, and we have the most effective way to execute the plan in the event that we have to utilize this plan. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the alternative methods of instruction plan for 2023-2024.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded that we adopt the plan. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same privilege. The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. To item number 70, the items for consent. Board has been presented to the board. Have a chance to review them. There have been some questions that have been circulated and addressed. If there is additional discussion, what I'll do is I'll entertain a motion to adopt the consent items, and we will have additional discussion, if any, then we'll proceed. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the items presented for consent. It's been moved and properly seconded that we adopt the items, approve the items for consent. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same privilege. The ayes have it. Moving on to item number 9, joint executive board announcements, board comments. I'll just begin with one, recognizing Chef Felton as our student representative. We look forward to your leadership, and we'll have a chance for you to make comments too as a board representative. So beginning with you, Ms. Pearson.
Good evening, everyone. So I have a few things to say this evening. One is this month we were guests at the MSBA conference, and a lot of information was given, a lot of advice was given. A lot of the neighboring school districts, along with school districts far away, have their eye on Normandy, and they are happy about the coming of it. Mr. Praymeyer stated that better days are ahead, and with our administration, our new superintendent, our new board, I can see it. It's just gonna, again, take time. Speaking of, we get a lot of negative comments about our school district, but we do not acknowledge the positive things. What I do want to acknowledge is those young men with the chess. You do not see a lot of urban schools with chess. You do not see a lot of urban young men happy about chess. He said he wants to make a career in chess. Now, but I'm glad that he has a positive outlook. Families, our staff, our community to see more of the positivity that we have going on in our school district as opposed to the negative. Let's shine a light on the positive things and not the negative things. Literacy is important. We have we have to work on that with our babies as a family, as a community, as a district, everything. So if it's getting our students to read the junk mail, to read the signs that you're riding past on the school bus, just having them notice certain things. Because if you have them looking at the signs on the street, one, they're gonna know where they are. Two, they're gonna know more about their city, ask more questions that will require them to read. Another thing that I'm noticing is a lot of our students are going missing. And I want to, as parents, community members, advise parents to get Life 360. It is a free app that you can get on your phone, and you will see how fast your kid is walking on that app, and it is completely free. Monitor these kids' phones. Also, track them with certain devices. I'm not sure if all devices have a Find My. I'm an iPhone person, so I'm not sure if all devices have a Find My or Track My, but just keep an eye on our kids because our babies are coming up missing. Thankfully, they're coming back safe, but that time they're missing the anxiety of our families and our teachers, our administration is just horrible. Again, congratulations to Ms. Chandra and Mr. Berry for taking love into our students with a new skill. That's something that it melts or warms my heart because I also have a student in the school district that's Ms. Chess. She's a girl, but I'm so excited to see boys step into something different. Barack Obama Elementary this Thursday is having a daddy-daughter dance. The color is pink, and I'm asking that everybody step in, step up, and show love because they would like to give all little girls that show up a Barbie doll. If you can drop them off a Barbie doll this Thursday, that would be great. And we're also having a community forum with Beyond Housing on December 6th at 6 p.m. That's all that I have to say this evening.
Thank you, Ms. Hughes. Ms. Williams.
I'll be very brief. I didn't get to the MSBA conference, but I did attend the Racial Equity Summit this weekend. It was very powerful. I'll leave you with just one thing. A young lady from Washington, recent graduate, John Urban scholar, said something to all of us. She said the most important thing we can do is find our why. Find our why. She said, know your limits. I'd like to reconstruct that into manage your path. One last thing. We talked about culture earlier. I walked into the building office this afternoon, and I happened to get into a conversation with Ms. Bell. I don't know how I got into it, but Ms. Bell said something to me. She said, if these children are not achieving, I take responsibility. She doesn't meet children. She's not a coach. She's a receptionist. She said, but when I talk to people, I try to make sure that they know children are important in the school, and I am held responsible for their achievement. I love it. That's the kind of culture I think we want to have, right?
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Ms. Pat.
Good evening. Thank you to the staff. Thank you to all that are in the buildings all day, and transport and feed our students. Congrats to the chess team. Much success as they move forward. I'd also like to make a community announcement. My church, which is All Saints in Ascension Episcopal Church, which is on the corner of Groveland and Lucas Hunt. We do a food drive, a drive-through food drive, the third Saturday of every month. So that Saturday is coming up. And if you know people that need food or food insecure, please have them drive through or walk up between 11 and 1 on Saturday. So thank you for all you do. And we are moving forward, and that is a good thing. And remember, children first.
Thank you, Ms. Pat. Ms. Humphrey.
Well, first of all, I would like to say thank you to everyone in attendance today. And I wanted to also give thanks for all of the reports that were given because they're all informative and they were clear for us to be able to understand them. I also attended the NSBA conference in Kansas City, and I actually prepared a formal report for my attendance there to talk about what sessions I attended, when I attended, and what vendors I actually visited. There were a couple of things. There was a couple of things that were really a takeaway for me. There were two sessions at the conference that talked about the future of AI in education, and they were extremely powerful presentations. One of the presentations was using a piece of equipment called Merlin mic, and it's basically a handheld mic that you can wear around the neck, and it was such a powerful presentation that I brought back information to share. But what happens with this device, a teacher could literally be instructing in a classroom, and they say, we want to do a study on sea turtles in the Atlantic Ocean. And immediately, that device pulls it up on their screen and begins to give them in real time the information, the historical data. It even went further to say that a teacher could use AI and say, I'm going to do a lesson on quadratic equations. Prepare me a lesson plan that I could use over the next coming week, and within 5 to 7 minutes of that request, AI had created that lesson plan. And so what it does, it leverages the teacher's time and its additional support. I saw some things that I thought down the road, when you talk about PLCs and data teams, where further down the road, if you have certain data, you tell AI, here's my student data, analyze it, and show me where the shortcomings. It was showing the kinds of things that were cutting edge. And I think with us going into a technological age, that's something that we really, really, really need to take a look at, because I think it's something that will be needful. I know Harlan and I, we also attended the Automods table, which was the digital cadaver, and this is my second year looking at it. Every time I look at it, I see all kinds of applications, and I think at some point in our evolution as a district, our children deserve every tool that we can make available to them. Once again, I'd like to say thank you to all the administrators for all the work that's being done, and thank you to my board colleagues for the work that you're doing.
Thank you, Mr. Humphrey, for your comments and your report, and good representation of the use of taxpayer dollars. Ms. Taylor.
Good evening. Good evening. I just like to say, I just want to just say I appreciate this joint executive governing board and all of the hard work that you all have done. I too had an opportunity to go to the Missouri School Board Association, I'll say training and learning. I want to say it was so powerful for me, being the first time ever attended. It was so powerful. Particular class that I did go to, when we got there, we went as a group and they separated us and they put us at individual tables, and I didn't understand why they did that. But then I believe it was Terrence Peterson when he said well, he did that intentionally. And then they asked us a couple of questions, and they say, talk within your table. And sometimes we can sit back and we can look and we can think that things are not going so well with us. You know, when we look at Normandy, we know that the stigma that had been put on Normandy, you know, with the whole accreditation thing, and people were trying to make it seem like Normandy is not a good school district. But when we sat down at that table and I talked to people from other parts of Missouri, it's not just one school district. It's all of the school districts. And so I want to say to the staff, to the teachers, administrators, everyone that works within the Norman School Collaborative, I just want to give you your kudos today in that, you know, you're doing a great job. Because it's going to take all of us in order for our children to succeed. When I look at those young men coming up and I thought about what they were saying, in order to sit down and play, now we all can play checkers, jump to, you know, you're ready to play. But when it comes to chess, it takes determination and it takes concentration, and that's what it's going to take for our children to make it. One last thing I want to say, my 2-year-old granddaughter was at my house a couple of weeks ago, and her sister is 8 years old. And so Carly is 8 and Casey is 2. And so Carly was sitting on the floor and she was kind of like she was hiding. Casey was running around in a circle and she kept saying, Carly, what are you doing here? Carly, what are you doing here? Carly, what are you doing here? And I thought about it, it was kind of funny. And then when I sat down at the table today, I wrote it down on my paper. And that's the question that we should ask ourselves. What are we doing here? Are we doing all we can for our children? We are here because we are concerned about our children. I'm so concerned about the children. Yes, my children are grown. I only have one granddaughter in the school district. But I'm so concerned about our children. because the children are our future. And like Ms. Teresa said, if we don't put them in a car and teach them the street signs, if we don't show them how to get from home to school, they'll never know how to get home from school. It's up to us to teach them what they want. So I just want to say, I just appreciate each of you all, and I just want to say, keep doing what you're doing. We know why we are here. We are here because we are here for the children. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. And another example of taxpayer dollars that could use. I'm going somewhere with this.
Sure, the standard has been set. During the MSBA conference, I chose to attend 2 sessions around finance for the district. And I understand, because as a social worker, that is a weak point. Dr. Brooks has produced a ton of wonderful reports on how we are doing financially as a district. For anyone who has been around our district for more than 4 years, you know that we have survived some tremendous challenges financially. And for us to be in great financial health is a strength of our district, and it's our responsibility as a board to maintain that. So leaning into that was quite an education for me. But I also had an opportunity to attend a session led by Dr. Peterson around board governance, in particular around board presidents. Someone will have to lead this board as president when, after April, when our illustrious president goes off the board. And if considered for that opportunity, I do want to be prepared for that. So I spent a half day before the conference in a session with Dr. Peterson and some of our leaders in those roles, and learned a ton of information, mostly about things that I currently do not know. And so it was very insightful. With that being said, I'm glad that we've chosen to continue our partnership with MSBA tonight. I want to just say this. During the conference, one of the keynote speakers was John Keonis, who you all may know from, what's the name of the show? Yeah, What Would You Do? And he shared his own story before becoming a very big television star. And one of the things that he mentioned was that he and his family spent 7 generations of his family that lived in San Antonio. And he said for 7 generations, his family did not have to learn to speak English because they had everything that they needed inside of their community. It was only when those resources disappeared that they needed to venture out and gain other resources, that he needed to expand his own knowledge of English and to expand and include more people into his community. I think there's a direct connection to what has been discussed. You've heard so many examples of different organizations that have leaned in and want to be a part of our community. We have 11 MOUs that we approved tonight that were narrowed down from about 60. And those are not even, that doesn't even scratch the surface to the number of folks who want. So I am really excited that we are leaning on our partners to help us fortify this district. And of course, I have to lean into a chess analogy here. On Monday, we talked about pawns that exist alone. And there's a term that is commonly known among chess players for a pawn that has no support, that is by himself in the middle of the board or the side of the board. It's called an isolated pawn. But it has another name. It is called a dead pawn. Because anything in isolation is either dead or dying. So our students are leading the cause of helping us to understand the importance of connection and community, and that we have life and life more abundantly with the benevolent connections that we have. So thank you all for your connections and your support of this district.
Thank you, Mr. Hodge. I will yield the floor to Ms. Belton for our procedural comments.
I first would like to say thank you all for having me. You guys guys are doing great, specifically speaking to the principals at my school. You guys are so amazing. It felt good to be up here, hearing everything, so thank you all for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for your service. We look forward to your leadership.
Also, I am on the 100 graduating class committee, so I will let you guys know update to my team.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'd like to begin by thanking the board members for your dedication and commitment. Thank you to Dr. Triplett, administrators, teachers, staff, and parents. This work is no less than a beautiful struggle in this district, but your efforts are much appreciated, and thank you. I was going somewhere with my comments about taxpayer dollars and our board members. We were recently DESI approved that the board will go to local control, which means 3 seats will be, appointed members will be voted on, and we'll have 3 more elected officials, board members, thereby allowing us to have a fully controlled elected board. I've never been more excited about working myself out of a job. But I'm excited that the direction we're going, because although I'm appointed, I'm a taxpayer in this community, and I'm very encouraged by where we're going, and it's evident by our recently elected board members. We have a bright future ahead for leadership and governance at this board, with this board. And we talk about commitment, dedication, and love, and excellence in this district. Ms. Williams spoke of Ms. Bell, but another example of that is our Director of Safety and Security, Mr. Campbell, who I learned recently was the recipient of a kidney transplant. Was out of the hospital yesterday, and with Dr. Triplett's permission, I've been able to call him to address a matter. And he took my call, and he wasn't a few hours out of the hospital after he received a kidney transplant. Those are examples of the kind of love, commitment, dedication, and excellence in this district, and it's apparent. I just encourage everyone to continue to do that and promote those examples. Talk about it, let people know about it. Because it's a lot of that in this district, and it's a place full of that. Lessons learned will go repeated, and we talked a lot about things on how we used to do things and what we've done in the past. And I think the only thing I would take away from that is whatever we've done in the past that was wrong, we learn the lesson and not do it again. But we also move forward with change, and change is painful, but it's an opportunity for growth. And I was reminded of an example of that at a recent municipality, 24-1 municipality board meeting where Dr. Triplett gave a presentation on the district. And he went from, just prior to us approving him, straight no chaser to being an acquired taste. To me, that's growth. And I'm seeing evidence of a lot of that growth in Dr. Triplett. I'm seeing that in the staff, I'm seeing it in the teachers, and I'm growing myself. So this district is an opportunity for change and innovation, but it's a continuous opportunity for growth that's going to lead us to excellence and our path towards accreditation. So I appreciate that. And finally, I just want to say because iron sharpens iron, and what we're doing in the district is chess, not checkers. So that theme is very apparent that the moves we make at every level, although it may seem elementary, it's impacting 3 or 4 moves down the line. So remember that this is chess, not checkers, in terms of where we're taking the district. But we're all playing this game of chess together. And with that, I'll yield the floor to Dr. Michael Dana Triplett.
I'm glad you didn't say that, Dr. Khan. Thank you. Good evening, board, president, members, community members. On November 6th, we had a municipal partnership meeting, as Mr. Roberts so eloquently put it. I just had a real conversation with the mayors. I told them that, you know, many people can state what they would do, what they should do, what they could do, but many people are not in the seats that you're in. So they don't have to make those decisions. You can make a decision outside the window and not have to live with it. You have to live with your decision. So in making that compare and contrast, I'm hoping people understood that many times people will come to them with false accusations, but get it from the source. And stop feeding into the false accusation, because what that does is it internalizes or cancers the whole system, puts a cancer on the whole system. So now you got people pitting against people because somebody said something and it's an allegation. Much of that is going around. So we have to stop that. The other thing is, our kids entering the third grade, 78% of our kids entering the third grade are behind. So our task, Kate came phenomenal, just love her, with creating a plan designed to increase our K-1-2 reading skills. That's where the hard focus is. We can put a lot of things in place, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, but we stop the bleeding in to K-1 and 2. You have to stop the bleeding. So no longer are we putting Band-Aids on anything. We started surgery in kindergarten. 7, we had a student advisory committee. November 8th, we had a strategic plan committee. And November 9th, we had a parent advisory committee. Out of those 3 committees, one thing stood out. So I'm going to contact the mayors this week, and we got to create some strong language around holding kids responsible for bullying. I'm a protector by nature. Absolutely cannot tolerate a bully. So we have to create some strong language around bullying and around vaping. I echo some of the board members around, or all of the board members around, Chess Folk and Mr. Nave. Also, we have an initiative that some of our assistant coaches are working to receive their CDLs. In response to that, some of our senior leadership team will be the second wave to receive CDLs, because we have to be able to back these bus drivers up. We can't possibly be looking for the cavalry because it's not coming. So we have to help ourselves. We have to be innovative in our thinking. The last thing I want to say to Board Member Taylor mentioned about she's really concerned about our students. I am too. But if not equally more important, concerned about adults. Because we get so caught in our emotions, we forget it's about the kids. It's not about one person, one adult in this room. So my questions are, 1, are you doing what's right by kids? 2, how are you pouring into kids? Are you pouring into kids through other people? Or are you doing it yourself? I visit schools almost every day. I give our kids nicknames. I laugh, joke with them. I walk the hall with them. I eat lunch with them, or have lunch cooked for me. Yeah. That's how you pour into kids. That's how kids have to know that you're there for them. They have to know that you're human and you're not just a voice in a seat. Pour into these kids. That's all I have.
Thank you, Dr. Triplett. We have to move to exec session to deal with some personnel and legal matters. I'll ask that the board, once we adjourn, move quickly to the room and adjourn to the board meeting executive session. But with that, I'll entertain a motion to move to executive session. So moved. Second. It's been moved and probably second that we adjourn to executive session. Can we roll call?
Yes, sir. Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Taylor? Yes. Mr. Humphrey.
Yes.
Ms. Patton.
Yes.
Ms. Williams. Ms. Pearson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.